I just said shit. Just myself 45. You try to trace the shorty out. Need to see you and feel you next to me. I'm proud of the thing they made it out. Like a smile, I want to see you cry. Got some question that I gotta ask you out. Don't you come over there and say, it's either love me now. Would you love me if I was down? And how would you still have time for me, girl?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Good afternoon, good afternoon. Welcome to Love and War TV. I am Judge Lisa, and I have four very handsome, great men slash defendants on the panel with me, and I am so excited because you ladies and maybe men get to hear from these men. You get four different perspectives of whatever question you had to ask today. So I'm excited about this. I have defendant Arian Tyson, defendant Justin Washington, defendant Marty Ramsey, and defendant Todd Mims. These are some great men that I have known for some time now, and I'm excited to be able to get their opinion or perspective as well. So nevertheless, we're going to go ahead and get started. How are you guys doing this afternoon?
Doing excellent.
Fantastic.
Yeah, pretty good.
Pretty
good.
Awesome, awesome. Good stuff. Are you all ready to be in the hot seat today?
Oh yeah, bring it on, yo.
Indeed, I am. Let's get it.
Yeah, I got my seatbelt on.
You better tighten it up. You better tighten that thing up. I'm telling you now. These ladies are not playing. We have got some great questions. You all know we surveyed 100 women, and a lot of the women came with the same questions. So I'm really excited to hear what you all have to say about those questions, right? So let's go ahead and get this thing popping, all right? So very first question that we have today is it okay for your mate to have a friendship with a person whom he's had sexual intercourse with in the past?
Yeah.
Well, you know what I'm saying, that'd be cause conflict of interest, you know what I mean? And I don't think it's right. But if you doing your job, whatever, take care of business in all areas, you ain't worry about nothing. So it's cool though if she want to, you know. That's what I think.
Okay, so defendant Ramsey, you're saying that as long as you're handling your business, you really shouldn't worry about who your mate is friends with, even if it's someone he's been with in the past.
Exactly. You know, all attributes of life. You know, business. You know, bills. You know what I'm saying? Finances, love. If you take all them areas correctly, you gotta worry about none. You know what I'm saying? Even though they had past relationships in the past, whatever, they had sex encounters, whatever, you know, you take care and handle your business right. Oh, word out. Yeah, what we had in the past is over now. I'm with Marty Ramsey. He take care of me very well. Good, you know?
Okay, good stuff, good stuff. I appreciate it. I appreciate your perspective, Marty. And I want to ask you, Mr. Justin Washington, because I know that you are married, and I want to know, how do you feel about that? Is it okay for your wife to have a male companion that she's been intimate with before?
No, but I say that with certain reservations, because there's different types of relationships, different levels of relationships. So if, for instance, we could have a simple text every once in a while relationship or something like that, where we've had intercourse before, and I may text you every once in a while, not to have a long conversation, maybe a happy birthday or something like that, just to let you know I still care, you know, the minimum.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be fine if it was that kind of relationship. Now, if my wife or anyone's mate, period, anyone's mate, period, male or female, if they chose to, engage in long conversations, then they would start investing emotionally in the person. And when that happens, that's most of the battle right there. They're mostly gone right there. So no, it's not. For the most part, it's not a good idea. It's not at all. I'd say about 90% not okay, 10% okay.
Right. Okay. And I would just say that I've been on both sides of the fence, and being in a relationship and having a male friend who I've been with before is okay with me, because I know me. I know that I'm not going to go back, because it's the reason why I left that person in the beginning. And I know that, I'm a great friend, and I deal with, people who I think are good people as well. So we will benefit each other in some sort of way. For instance, I have a wonderful friend who is now preaching and doing, really great things for himself. He's a photographer and a videographer. He does a lot of things. So, in my business, he can help me. He can help me by taking pictures of me, doing videos for me. But if I have a jealous, or not necessarily jealous, but sorry about that, but a controlling husband or a significant other, then now we're both losing out, because now I got to go pay somebody else bukus of money simply because basically it all boils down to my husband doesn't trust me, right? Mm-hmm. It all boils down to he doesn't trust me. So so with my point of view, I say that you have to know what you're dealing with. You have to know who you're dating. If you know that your husband or your wife was promiscuous before, well, then you may not be able to trust her with her ex. You may not be able to trust him with his ex. But if like I said, if you know the person and you believe that they are a good person and they're not going to do you like that, then I say go for it. Go for it. Anybody else want to chime in on that?
Yeah, I'll chime in on it. I still have a friendship with an individual who I was intimate with. Now, the thing about it is I'm in a relationship right now. And I hear what you're saying about I know me. And there's a reason why they are the past and not the present and future.
Absolutely.
There's a reason for that. And so a lot of times people that fall into that trap of getting caught up with an ex from the past or whatever, the reason that they do a lot of times is due to the fact that they haven't closed that chapter.
That's right.
They decide to leave it open, but where I'm from, you don't start new business until old business is finished.
Absolutely.
And so if you haven't done it, then obviously it's going to come out, because emotions is a very strong thing. Mm-hmm. Whether you're a male or a female. So it's just a matter of you handling your business. And as far as the males go, one of our major responsibilities as men is to make sure that our significant other is secure, because most of the women that we deal with on a regular basis has dealt with some type of hurt, has some type of emotional scar, and it has nothing to do with us per se. But whether it's by default, whether it's blatantly indirectly, at some point in the beginning, we have to be able to overcome her past, to overcome those past issues that she may or may not be dealing with. But it's up to her to deal with it.
So let me ask you this, Defendant Tyson. Mm-hmm. What if your significant other said, I don't want you talking to her no more? Whatever she could give you, I can give to you. Why do you even need to talk to her? I don't want you talking to her. If you got to talk to her, I really don't want us to be together. What if she said that to you? How would you feel about it?
If she said that, well, that's never happened to me. However, if it happened to me, I would really have to evaluate how important this person is going forward, because I have to remember to look at the big picture.
Absolutely.
If I'm looking at, I want to have her around, if I'm looking at where I want to get to the point where I want to marry her, have children with her, then sometimes you got to take it you got to take the bitter with the sweet. Now the thing about me is, and that's funny you asked me that question, is because most of my friends I've known, like, or female, and I've known them for 5, 10, 15, 20. I have friends that I've known for 25 years or better. But the difference is I haven't been intimate with them. I was never intimate with them. So for me, if my significant other was to ask me that question personally, I may have a problem with it, but I have to understand the big picture, because most men can't say that. Most men can't say that they have been friends with a female for 20 some years and ain't never gotten into their pants. I mean, it is what it is.
Awesome, awesome. Good stuff, Arian. And I know that helped somebody. Thank you, all three of you, for answering that. Now, for you, Mr. Mims, we're not letting you off the hook that easily. Okay. So for you, we have a lady who asked, is there a difference between having sex and making love?
Absolutely. Sometimes you just want to go in there, bang it up, don't squeeze, ain't no hugging, no kissing, and let me go on by my business. You know what I'm saying? Making love to me is an emotional thing that you put on the table. You know what I'm saying? It's emotional. I love the way this person makes love. It's all emotional, because the physical activity is the same. You know what I'm saying? It might vary depending on different people and their choice of positions and things, but emotionally, it's an emotional thing. Love is to me.
All right. So if you're just having sex, you don't really love that woman, right? You just.
I mean, it depends. If it's one that I do love, I do. But if it's just a random girl I'm seeing every 2 weeks, we just banging, no, I don't love you. But I love having sex with you.
All righty then. Well, folks, you asked for the truth. And that's what we give you. Thank you, Todd. Anybody else want to chime in on that one? Or you want to leave that alone?
Yeah, I'll chime in on it. With just sex itself is an act. It was an act made for having kids. I mean, simple as that. The act was made for having kids. Okay?
Right.
Having sex with someone is just a simple action. But when it comes to making love, just like my previous defendant that spoke, just like he said, there's emotion attached to that. And I feel like with making love, you're leading with the emotion, whereas with having sex, you're just taking action, you know. And you can have sex with someone that you love and make love to at other times. You can just have sex. Y'all can just go in there and just for about,
right,
for a quick time. You can do that. That's just sex. But when you're making love, you're leading with emotion. Making love starts way before you start touching someone. It starts way before that. It starts with the words you're saying, the environment that you set up for that, if you're into that kind of stuff. So that's my 2 cents on it.
It's stuff.
Yeah, well, so I like that one too. My definition of love is like, when you say the music's going right, you look at each other's eyes, and that soulmate of yours, and make that everlasting love, it ain't gonna end. It's always gonna be there, through thick and thin. But sex, it's just like, just give them the rod and reel, real nice and proper like, and you out of there. So most definitely love, it's an overwhelming thing that your soul is, takes to the heavens, but the sex is just in and out, so that's how that go to me, my definitions of it.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, good stuff, good stuff. All right. So we're gonna move on to the next question, because We've only answered 2 questions so far, and I have over 20. Okay? Now, this is a pretty long question, but you all pay attention so that you can get it, okay? How should a woman know what you like and what you don't like if you don't communicate that to her? Would you rather her go with the flow and risk you being unhappy, or ask you and show that she's concerned? Because when she asks you, you say she's nagging. Somebody want to chime in on that, please?
I'll chime in on that one since I didn't chime in on the last one. I have no problem with a woman asking me questions, because if a woman is asking me questions, then to me she's genuinely interested. Now, there are some that ask questions just to be nosy, just to kind of see where your head is at. But the thing about it is, once again, I mentioned in the last time I spoke that it's about big picture. Some people go into a situation and you can tell probably within the first conversation or in the line of questions that they're asking whether or not this is someone that's just going to be around for a season, or you can actually see them being around for a long period of time. And so you ask that, you figure that out based on the questions that they ask. And with that, that's important, because traditionally men were taught to hold stuff in. Men were taught not to communicate, and I just know that just from watching my parents, growing up as a kid, watching my grandparents, growing up. Men didn't speak. They didn't voice how they felt. And in most cases, they start voicing how they felt when they got drunk. And the thing about it is that causes an emotional disconnect, because ain't nobody got time to be guessing what's on someone else's mind. You either open your mouth and say what's on your mind, and just deal with the consequences. Because the bottom line is this, and I'll end my section here, that I would rather be slapped with the truth than kissed with a lie. It is what it is.
Absolutely. That's me too, Arian. That's me too. And we as women, just like you said, we find that most men are closed in because for whatever reason, and I guess you just answered that question for a lot of women who think like, man, why is it that men, why can't they just say what they want and what they don't want, so that way we know? Because if they don't, then we do what we think they like, and then they don't like it, then it just throws them off, and it just throws out the whole relationship or whatever, so it's really about opening up. And, on both parties, opening up and sharing how you feel, regardless if somebody feels like you're nagging. Because I'm the same way, if I feel some type of way, I'm going to say it, because I feel like I'd rather you like me for who I am than to like me for somebody I'm not. And I'm not a closed-in person who is not going to communicate with you. I'm going to tell you how I feel, and you got to do whatever you got to do after that. So I totally agree with you and feel you 100% on that area.
Let me piggyback off that real quick. And the reason I say that is because I've been in a prior relationship where questions that should have been asked were never asked. And we actually got to the point, and yeah, this may be getting personal, but I'm unapologetic when I say this, because it happened to me, and someone that's watching may be going through this or may have experienced what I'm about to say. But for me, what a lot of people don't know is I was in a relationship for 4 years, and it actually got to the altar. But if someone was to ask me, have I ever been married, or am I divorced, I would say no, because it was actually annulled. So, and that's a difference between an annulment and a divorce. It's a huge difference, because, and then if I need to touch on that, I'll touch on it, because I'm not scared. But because it happened to me and I learned something from it, and it actually has made me a better person. But for that, communication is everything. And a lot of times I've always heard growing up, that an idle mind is the devil's playground. you have to be as men, we have to be able to make sure that that woman, if we say we love that woman, we have to make sure that they are as secure as possible. It may get redundant. You may get tired of saying the same thing and keep having to, remind them. But you have to ask yourself, is that woman really worth it? Is she worth, giving that sense of security? Because a lot of stuff happened prior to you, and it's not your fault. But she may still be dealing with it. Sometimes we have to love that woman past her pain if she allows us to. But until we can, we got to be able to ask the right questions, and that's where the communication comes in.
Awesome. Good stuff. Now that just leads me to my next question, because now we're talking about how men, some men don't really communicate because that's how they were raised and all that good stuff. So that leads me to my next question. And I will ask defendant Ramsey this. Do guys think showing emotions is a sign of weakness?
Oh, most definitely not. You know what I mean? It's might make them feel uncomfortable, at times. But, I don't think unless it's a man, you know what I mean? I want you to tell me, what's going on, So, you be even a bigger man, you sit down and listen to what's going on in hand, I won't think you just make you weak. That made me even bigger. Like, wow, he really listened to me. He really understand. That we make a good team and put off that bond. So I don't think that make you a weak person. That means, you do all the right things, and the women that make you, be the bigger man. That's what I think about the situation.
Absolutely. So all of you men on this panel would agree, right? Men don't think that you're less than a man or weak because you show emotion. Is that correct? Most of you would agree. Would all of you agree with that?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd agree partially, only because we say that, of course, for us, the men on this panel, we know that it's not a weakness. But there are a lot of men, including myself before, a long time ago, that thought showing emotion was weak. And it's not because, it's not for no reason. It's because just growing up, all these people say, you hear all the time, stop crying, be a man, stop all that crying, get in the house. Stop all that whining. Stop all that stuff. When you try to show emotion, it will shut down right there. It will shut down when you even try to show emotion growing up. And then, not to mention, you see all these images that are being put in your head, in songs, on television, on movies, of what a man should be. And you see this macho alpha male, big brute strength, not showing any emotion, getting all the women. You see all that. And you think that's the way to go, but it's not. And nothing like that can last when you're in a relationship with beings that are emotional, with a woman who's very emotional. Like, most women are emotional, and men are emotional as well. They just hide it. They keep it bottled in.
Right.
Which you have to learn.
Mm-hmm. A lot of men, a lot of women outlive men because of that reason.
Yes.
And that's why I asked you all, did you all agree? Because I knew most of you would say, yes, I agree. But in the real world, in reality, I mean, you all are some great men. Don't get me wrong. You all on this panel right here are some great men. But in reality, I know that a lot of men, at least most men that I've come in contact with, not just, my boyfriend or somebody I've been with, but just, people in general, they just believe that, you should be a man and never show your emotions. Don't tell no woman how you feel. If something that she did offended you, if she, for instance, I have a friend right now. She called me the other day. She was having this issue. She said that she was sitting at the lunch table with, it's just a homeboy of hers. It's nothing with him, just a homeboy. And this guy that is interested in her and she's interested in him happened to walk in the lunchroom, and she was like, girl, I felt like I cheated on him. And she was like, I really, didn't know what to say. And then he messaged me and said, hey, I see you having lunch with your boyfriend, right? But then he was like, laugh out loud, I was just kidding. But he was kind of showing his emotions, but at the same time, he's trying to hide it. But really, you know, it makes a woman feel like, well, should I try to convince him that, yeah, it's really not my boyfriend? Or am I going to be looking like I'm with him? Or what should I do in that situation? And that's kind of like where she is now, because now he's like giving her the cold shoulder or whatever. But it's like he tried to show his emotion, but then he's like, oh, I was just playing. I really don't care about that. You know, so even though men will say I'm not emotional, and you know, I mean, or I can be emotional and I express how I feel and blah blah blah, but a lot of men, they really, when it comes down to it, they really don't.
Right, and it's a struggle coming back from that. If you men, please, you know, I beg you from personal experience, please learn to. There's different, you know. You don't have to read all these books or anything like that. You can talk to people who communicate very well, communicate their emotions very well. Learn to say how you feel. It's very, very important. It's very important because it will hurt you in the long run. It'll hurt you physically, as far as your health. It'll hurt your spirits. It'll hurt your relationship. It'll hurt your relationship.
So what I just said, who would like to chime in and say, okay, at this point, coming from a man, all right, you see this chick that you're genuinely interested in, she's interested in you, how would you react? Like, how would you feel if you saw that and you really don't know who this dude is, you just gotta believe what she's telling you, that, you know, it's her friend? Like, how would you feel about that?
I like to chime in. First of all, you have to come at it in a way where it's like you're asking the question, but you ain't asking the question. Be like, oh, I saw you having lunch this evening or whatever, not. You know what I'm saying? Did you have a good lunch? And they gonna be like, oh yeah, I was having lunch with my so-and-so, so-and-so. It's like you're asking the question, but you ain't. And okay, and if they don't tell you, that's a sign that something, the flag should go up. You know, the red flag should go up. Not saying that they just have to tell you, but if you got that close enough relationship with this person where that's making you feel some type of way, you got to be open and express yourself. Because if you don't, a man's mind that holds in that type of stuff, that holds in his feeling, is an idle playground. You know what I'm saying? You'll start thinking of devious things to do, and all types of stuff will start popping in your head that's not even there.
Absolutely. Thank you. And so, Marty, what would you say to that woman? What would you say as far as, okay, now she's in this predicament and this guy is closed in. What would you say? How should she proceed?
Well, you know what I'm saying? She just tell me what it is, be real, so I won't be guessing, so I won't be flying out the handle for nothing. You know, just tell me the truth, you know, and I just take it from there. You know, don't have me guessing, and if I do guess and fly out the handle, I'm in the wrong. You know, just tell me what's going on, and I respect it. Hear your friend, whatever. I respect it. I greet them. You know what I'm saying? Hey, how you doing? You know, but don't let me keep me guessing. You know what I'm saying? Tell me what it is, up front, close and personal. I'm grown, and we all grown. Just tell me the truth.
Absolutely. Okay. Awesome. All right. Good stuff. That's a big one. That's a big one, guys, because we women deal with that so much. Like, I know, like, my female friends, if I had to say one thing they call me about and ask for my advice, it will always be something the man is doing to hide his emotions. Like, always. It's like we always got to play the guessing game with men, right? So, moving right along, because we still have a lot of questions. Can a man really ever get over his first love?
Shoot, yeah. Get you some more loves. You can't, yeah. That's my uncle used to tell me, best way to get over somebody is to find somebody else.
Nicely put. Okay. Well, let's go on to the next question, and that one was pretty easy, right? This one is kind of funny, but I'm going to ask it anyway. What goes through your mind when you leave? This must be for the married men or men that lives with the women. What goes through your mind when you leave dirty socks anywhere but where they're supposed to go, or the toilet paper is done? Why not replace it? I know you mean because that's your job.
Well, if I leave, the only time I leave something, leave like a dirty sock or anything, or clothes that I worn, if I leave, only time I leave something dirty like that somewhere, the only time that I do it personally, I have to be dog tired, and I just leave it next to the bed and get it the next day, maybe. Maybe 2 days later, but we're not gonna talk about that. But that's the only reason I would do that. As far as the toilet paper, if you're the last one to use it, change it. I mean, I thought that's as simple as that. If you're the last person to use the toilet paper, I thought it was simple. Just get some more toilet paper and put it in there. That'll keep everybody happy.
Bathroom etiquette.
Yep.
Exactly. There you go, ladies. If he's tired, he's just not gonna get up the socks. Look, you pick them up today because I'm tired. I've been working all day. All right. But if I use the last little bit of tissue, I'm gonna change it. Right, man?
There you go.
Okay.
There you go.
And please let that work both ways, because women, y'all got to do it too. Don't have us going on the commode and we can't find it, because I'm going to pull a joke on you. I'm going to hide them. And when you get up on there, you have to ask me for some. I'm going to hide the rest, because I'm going to be sitting on this commode thinking, damn, she just come out of here and didn't even change this.
Okay. All right. Here's another good one, y'all. Kind of long, but it's still a good one, all right? Why do men take a good, independent woman for granted, but will do anything for a woman that's attractive, shallow, and simply money hungry? Is she getting treated better because she looks good on his arm or because he loves to feel needed? She says you would think that a man wants a strong, independent woman, but it seems as though they're intimidated by us.
Yeah,
I haven't heard from
let me get this.
defendant Arian Tyson in a while. Let me hear from you. What do you have to say about that? What do you think?
I get the feeling you picking on me, but it is what it is. We gonna burn you. Here's the deal for me, and I don't know if the other fellows on the panel agree, but I'm speaking solely for me. When you talk about the term independent women, that's a sensitive subject for me. And the reason it is because that's not the end all be all, or that's not like you have not arrived when you're an independent woman. And as far as I'm concerned, the upper level is to become interdependent, because we were designed, men and women were designed to help each other. We were designed to complement each other. And so just like a woman has a need to be wanted and appreciated, whether men agree or they voice it or not, we want to feel appreciated. We want to know that what we're doing matters. We want to know that you actually care, and there are more ways to show that you actually care than to open your legs. And the thing about it is this: when it all boils down to it,
Mm-hmm.
and it's absolutely no knock on a woman that is put in a position where they have to do it by themselves because the person that they thought that they were going to be with, they went that route and they left for whatever reason, and they not taking care of their responsibility, and now they're stuck with raising children on their own. It's no knock against them. But when you come across someone who's willing to bring what they have to the table, you can't treat them like the guys that dogged you in the past, because they're already bringing stuff to the table. And I can speak to that from personal experience, because I always said, like, I dated a woman that had kids, and I always stayed away from women that had kids. Always did, until a couple of years ago. And now I can talk about that situation and articulate myself properly because I have the experience to back it up. Dealt with a strong, independent woman. We're still friends to this day, but we just realized that where I'm going, it didn't line up with where she wants to go, and so on and so forth. But we're still friends. And the thing about it is, when you're dealing with a strong, independent woman, if depending on how long they've been quote unquote strong and independent, there are a lot of layers that you're going to have to tear away from, that you're going to have to tear down, because they've been doing stuff by themselves for so long. And then when they come across a guy that doesn't mind helping, that doesn't mind stepping up and doing what he's supposed to do as a man, it is going to require them to get out of their comfort zone, because being independent and strong, that's comfortable. That has become comfortable for them because that's what they're used to. But life begins at the end of your comfort zone. That's where life really begins. And you have to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. Sometimes you got to do what you don't want to do to get where you want to be. And in the case of a woman, an independent woman, that's what's going to have to happen, because otherwise, it's almost like you're wasting time. You're wasting time, and I mean that's just my take on it. And I don't know how the other fellas feel about it.
Yo, let me get this one, please.
Go ahead.
A strong, independent woman, right? You know, like you said, the question was, you know what I'm saying, why they mistreat them. All right, you know, I'm reading about an independent woman, you know, they're missing something, you know, that's why they cheat on them, whatever, you know what I'm saying, in areas. So, like, you know, they're good in business, whatever, and straight, good team when it comes down to bills, compromise and things and everything, but they missing something, like the basic stuff, like having fun or joking, having a good time, or, you know what I'm saying, this being each other, make each other laugh, you know what I'm saying, stuff like that, basic stuff, like holding hands, whatever you do, you know what I mean, what the man want to do. And then when the man do what want to do, the independent want to do, lady want to do, it's all fine and dandy, but it's coming to him, you know what I'm saying, she been balled up and locked up for so long, that my man saying you got to break down them layers, man, it's hard sometimes. So that's why they know they go to elsewhere to get the comfort and love and the stuff they need, stuff like that. But when you trying to talk to her or like compromise or like something I don't like and this is what I do like, you know what I'm saying, they still don't want to hear it. You know what I mean? It's like, this is my way, you know, and I've been doing this for years. Who you just tell me what to do? You know what I mean? And that's like a big turn off, you know what I mean? And
Great point, Marty.
You know, like, wow, man, why they do that? You know what I mean? I mean, she's stuck in the way, so that's why they do that to me, man. You know?
Absolutely. You know, I couldn't agree with you more. And it's funny that you said that and you're talking about women because, you know, I actually was in a 4-year relationship with a man who was the same way. I've been doing this for years, you know, and he was in his mid-30s, and, you know, at that point, men are stuck in their ways, so to speak, you know, and it's really unfair to the mate because now you really don't give me a chance. You're telling me basically either it's this way or it's the highway, you know, and so for the independent woman, Marty's basically saying you need to loosen up a little bit, have some fun, you know, don't just because you're independent doesn't mean that you don't one day want to be dependent, right? You want a companion, you want a mate, you want somebody that you can have fun with, enjoy, have sex with, do everything with, you know, not just the small things or just the average things. You want to be able to, you want somebody that's well-rounded. I think that's what Marty and Arian both are saying here, right? Yeah, you want somebody that's
true indeed.
Awesome. Okay, good stuff. So we're gonna move right on to the next question. I realize we're gonna have some of our the defendants who have to leave shortly. So I want to ask you, Justin, okay, because you are married, right? Why do men get comfortable after they get married? Why do some men get comfortable and why do they get comfortable after marriage?
Because it becomes so easy for them to become comfortable. When you get married, some of the things that maybe you weren't getting that you wish that you could have had before, some of those things you get, you know, or just in the relationship leading up to the marriage and after the marriage, you start getting those things. You know, like a good home cooked meal. If you were a bachelor before, living by yourself, and then all of a sudden you start dating this woman, which eventually leads to marriage, of course. In that situation, they start cooking for you. They start cleaning it up for you. You know, you clean like once a week before. They clean every day for you. You know, they go grocery shopping. You don't have to go to the store anymore because she'll go grocery shopping. She'll
so why not? If she's doing all of that and you realize it, why not? Okay, well she's cleaning up every day. I don't have to clean up. I'm working. You know, she's comfortable with cleaning up. Why not say, okay, baby, look, sit down, take a break. Let me clean up today. All right, I don't want you doing anything. Just let me do this. Why some men don't do that?
They don't do that because they don't feel like they need to. You know, they take it for granted. After a while, if something happens to you enough, eventually you become, I mean, for lack of a better word, you become numb to it.
Right.
You just, you know, she's been doing this every day. She cooks every day. After like, you know, for 2 years of that, you're used to it. You're like, you expect that, so you forget about it. You know, you're doing other stuff. You playing video games, whatever you do, and that's why you sit around.
All right. So on behalf of all of the women out there in the world, I think you ladies would appreciate me for saying this. Men, yeah, we love to help you. We love to do things for you. We love to make you happy. But you know what will make us happy is if sometimes you just get in there and you say, you know what, have a seat. Let me do all of this today. Or you don't have to do everything, but today let me wash the clothes while you wash the dishes. Right. Or let me cook the cornbread while you cook the green beans. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
What people don't realize is if you were to step in there and help your mate, then it will make things a whole lot easier. Same thing for the women. If your man is doing everything around the house and he's out there, he got to cut the grass, go out there and pick up the trash out of the yard before you cut the grass. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a team effort. And when we do things as a team, it takes the workload. It makes the workload a whole lot easier.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? I cook today, you clean up. All right, let's do this together. I think that would make more marriages great. Right. You all agree?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Agreed.
Awesome. Good stuff. Okay. All right. Now I know, yeah, like I said, we have a couple people who have to leave. So let me ask you one more question, Mr. Ramsey, before you have to go. Do men want real love these days, or do most men just enjoy being promiscuous?
No, you know what I'm saying? Everybody's searching for that real love, like Mary J. Blige say in her song. You know, most definitely, you know what I'm saying, man, we want that real love, man. You know, it's nothing like it. You know what I'm saying? If he ready, you know what I'm saying, start bobbing and weaving, you know what I'm saying, out there showing his Royal Oaks. If he ready, you know what I'm saying, he want that real love, you know what I'm saying? You get tired of, you know what I'm saying, out there this one and that one. You know, if he really ready, yeah, he want that real love, man. It's definitely hands down. You know what I mean?
Right, so you say that most men are just out there being promiscuous because they haven't ran into that good woman that they want to be. That's what you say?
Yeah, they want to just blow his mad head off, you know what I'm saying? So most definitely, you know what I'm saying? Most definitely looking for that one, you know what I mean? On the last question, like, you got to build the marriage, you know what I'm saying? It's everything, you know, 50-50, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes be like 70-30, stuff like that, but, you know, but y'all got to come together, you know what I'm saying? She doing this and she doing that. Yeah, like, yeah, she doing too much, yo, let me do something. You know what I'm saying? Like, when she get out of work, you know, have her bad water ready, you know what I mean? Give her a nice massage and let you handle the kid, let she get some rest. So, you know what I'm saying? All this together get working, you know, it's together as one. You know what I'm saying? When you get married, you know, y'all got to bond together as one. And y'all put the folks, people out here, I love to be on this channel right here. It's very nice and everybody's most lovely. But I got to go hit the bricks, kill the Kente, you know what I'm saying? Break them down, make my little living. And you know what I'm saying, on the next one, you know, episode number 4, you know, I'll be on there, hopefully they still be in the circle. And all the fellas, man, you know what I'm saying, y'all keep it tight, most love. And Felicia, keep going on with your little judge stuff going on, you know what I mean? Don't drop that guy on me, I'm gone, baby.
All righty, Marty, have a good day.
All right, peace.
So awesome. So what Marty was saying here is basically teamwork makes the dream work, all right? So ladies, men, let's stick together, let's work together, let's work this thing out together, because that way, you know, we ease the workload. Nobody is sitting over here super duper tired. Nobody is feeling neglected, because that's one thing yeah, let me say this. A lot of men in these marriages, who've been in the marriages for like 5+ years, or relationships for 5+ years, they say, well, my wife, she doesn't try to, come on to me. She doesn't really want to have sex and this and that. All right, and then I asked, well, what does she do every day? Well, she works, and then she cooks, and she clean up, she come home, and she take care of the kids, and she go to school, and and whatever the kids need done at school, she go and take care of them. I'm like, wouldn't you be tired too? Where does she have the energy to satisfy you in the bedroom? You have to go out there and cheat because she's having to do all of this. So I say, if you help your mate, whether it's the woman or the man, because men do a lot of stuff too in some relationships. I realize that. So it's not all one-sided here. But if you have a mate that's doing all the work, appreciate that man, appreciate that woman. Show them that you appreciate it, so that they can satisfy you in other ways other than working their butts off. Right? So we're going to move right to the next question real quick here. Todd, if you are still talking to your ex while dating others, why not be upfront about it? And she says, if you can't be upfront about it, wouldn't it be a better idea just not to date until you're able to say, I'm seeing others, including my ex, and if you want to continue seeing me, well, at least now you know. They might be surprised to learn other women only want to date them casually too. If not, they spare wasting others' time. So back to the question, if you are still talking to your ex while dating others, why not just be upfront about it?
Well, boy, okay. You got to find a definition of talking, to your ex. Because if I'm commuting like that with my ex on a basis where it's having an effect on my future, I haven't closed that chapter with her yet. Because most of the time, an ex is just what that is. An ex. Once it's over with, you're free to do what you want to do. You can't juggle the two. You can't have a new girlfriend and you're still having too much conversation with your ex. I mean, how much more they got to talk about unless they begging, crying, or apologizing? You know what I'm saying? I mean, you have to have a cutoff period so you can be able to grow gracefully within yourself. Sometimes people do need certain experiences with other people, and I'm talking about on both sides of the fence. You need to be a person that know how to break up with people, and you need to be a person that have got broken up on, so you know how to handle both of those situations. You be rounded. If you meet a girl and every time she tell you, I left him and I left him and I left him and I left him, or one that's always getting broken up on, something is wrong. Something is wrong.
Yeah, she needs to sit back and reevaluate before she dips into the next relationship, right?
Yes, and like you say, talking to the ex, and to that extent, where it's having a problem with you trying to mingle with somebody else, that person need to close that chapter or reopen the chapter and get with the ex, because I'm pretty sure they've been calling enough for you to go on and get with them. You know what I'm saying? If not, close the door and move on. Even if it's for a while.
Good stuff, good stuff, good stuff. So, Arian, I'm picking on you again, man. What quality or qualities do a man look for in a woman in order to make him want to settle down with her and make her the wife? She says the quality includes being faithful, committed, and honest on his end and hers. I think she kind of answered it at the end, but what qualities do a man look for in a woman to make him want to settle down with her and make her his wife?
Yeah, she kind of answered her own question, but I'll expound on it. For me, because I asked myself this question recently before I got involved in the relationship I'm in now. Honesty is a very important thing with me. You have to be honest at all costs. So with that, you're taking a big risk, because I've been in a situation where someone was not honest, and months went by, years went by, and stuff that should have came out didn't come out until all of a sudden they got a ring on their finger, and they had all these ample, and it was issues that they were dealing with personally that they hadn't got to. Well, obviously, when you get married, there are certain things that are supposed to happen, especially if you have done the right thing by actually waiting to get to that point. There are things that are supposed to go down. Well, what do you do when you're in a position where they're not going down, and it has nothing to do with you, but it has something to do with the fact that they had internal issues from their past that they didn't choose not to deal with. But now you basically are left there kind of hung out to dry because they weren't honest with you. They weren't honest enough to be forthright with you. So you have to take that chance anyway, because nowadays falling in love, like you're taking a risk, but the greater the risk, the greater the potential reward. And regardless of the pain that we all have gone through, especially dealing with past relationships, on the other side of that pain is a reward. And so you have to be able to give them a fair chance to decide what they want to do. If this is a situation that they want to, to deal with, or or if it's not enough for them, or if it's too much for them, then they'll go about their business, because you save yourself a lot of time and a lot of energy when you're on when you decide to be honest and forthright. Also, being able to communicate.
Okay, so if you had to sum that up, what qualities? What would you say? Like, does she have to be slim and trim, or does she have to have a job? What exact qualities would you say she needs most definitely? Now, we know some things we can work with, but most definitely she has to have these three things right here. What would you say?
The three things: she has to be honest, she has to be willing to communicate, and most importantly for me, she has to have her own personal relationship with God. Period. She has to. Like that is not even up for that's not up for discussion.
Exactly. Non-negotiable, right?
Right.
I love it. I like that. Yeah, I like that. Knowing God is definitely number one for me as well. Most of the other things we can work on, but yeah. So you say that communication and honesty and knowing God, right?
Yep.
Awesome. Good stuff. So, Todd, what would you say to a woman who says, how long does a man expect a woman to keep calm and be his girlfriend before he pops the magic question?
Oh boy, well that
I want to answer that too.
I guess that kind of varies within the relationship. Me, I'm gonna be honest. You know what I'm saying? I've been married before, and I married my wife at that time when we was together. 2 years after we were dating, we dated for 2 years and we got married. Now at the time, she had 3 children. You know what I'm saying? And I personally did not want the kids to see me shacking up with their mama for so many years and not saying that she wasn't worth to get married to. And I jumped the broom. I did it. Eventually it didn't work out, but I did it. You know what I'm saying? I think 2 years on a good dating relationship where y'all constantly together for 2 years, I think that's long enough. If it start going over 5 years with two engagement rings, or a promise ring, engagement ring, and another promise, shoot, I don't know what to tell you. But yeah.
I know that's right. Okay. All right. So you say after about 2 years, a man should know whether or not he wants that woman, and he should decide to either make it or break it, right?
Yeah, I think so.
All right. Todd says 2 years. How about you, Arian?
I agree with Todd as far as it does vary. For me, I'm right around that point too, around 2 years, because. But I will say this. We'll say this to the ladies, because the ladies do play a major role. I don't want to use the term ultimatum, but women know how to get what they want. And with that, you have to almost kind of force his hand, so to speak. Because, and this is why I say this, I have friends that have been with their mate. They have kids with their mate. They have been with their mate for 5, 10, 15 years.
Too long. Too long.
They don't have a ring. And the thing is, if you've been with that person for that long and you don't have no ring, you're not wearing his last name, not only is the fault on him, but the fault may actually be on you as well, because you are allowing it.
Absolutely.
You are allowing it to happen. They can open their legs and they can give that person a child, but they're not good enough to be that person's spouse. Really? Really though?
Exactly. Good stuff. I mean, I totally agree with both of you. From a woman's perspective, I would say I wouldn't put a time stamp on it. I'd say that because really, you know, people say, well, you need at least 5 years to know if you know a person. You need at least 3 years to know if you really know that person. Well, you know what? We've been family with people for years, all of our lives, and sometimes they'll still throw a monkey wrench in there and shock you with something that they did. You'd be like, I didn't even think Bobo would do something like that. You know what I mean? So really, you can't put a time stamp on it and say it depends on how long we've been knowing each other, because you can know a person 6 months, you can know a person 20 years, and you still not really know that person. That person could still have something in the closet that you don't even know about. So for me, I would say that you just have to like figure out if this person's flaws is worth you being with, right? You got to figure out what it is that you can and cannot deal with. Some people can deal with this, some people can't deal with it. So it just depends on each individual. And like I say, you know, some people met and got married in 6 months and been married for 20, 30 years. But some people have known each other for 5 years. They got married and got a divorce the very next year, right? We can all relate to stories like that. We all know stories like that. So that's why, personally, I can't put a timestamp on it. I just say go with what you feel is right, but make sure you don't ignore warning signals, warning signs. I will say that. Just make sure you don't ignore warning signs, because more times than we always get those warning signs. We always get them, and sometimes because this right here is so good, we just want to ignore it and keep it moving. So I'm not going to keep talking about that one. We have a few more questions that I really want to get out right quick, so we'll try to make these short and sweet, guys. All right?
Go ahead.
All right, so one question the ladies ask is, what do men want out of a relationship? What do they really want from a relationship?
I think they want honesty, companionship, and I guess the need to be loved and someone they can share their love with, to be open with, to be themselves with. That's what I can just sum it up to be.
Okay. Awesome. Good stuff. Do you believe a man has the power to make a woman feel insecure or secure in their relationship?
Yes.
Yes, I do.
He does, right? Yeah, I agree. And for obvious reasons, we don't really have to explain that. For obvious reasons.
Yep.
Yeah. And good one right here. Would it bother you if your wife or girlfriend earned more money than you in a male-dominated industry?
Mm-mm.
No.
I know I got a tough girl, and she can buy her own Michael Kors purse. I'm playing.
Yeah, well, some men, you know, they are intimidated, and
Well, ask these men, are they intimidated when all the bills are paid?
nah, they ain't intimidated then, are they?
But let me piggyback on that because he made a great point. Not only that, you can make more money than your mate, but do you know how to manage your money is the real big issue. Because I've been in a relationship where a woman made more money than me, but she sucked when it came to money. She could not manage her money, and as a result, you know, there was some things that happened where stuff that should have gotten paid didn't. They got comfortable, and it started affecting my money. It started
Right.
affecting what I was being able to bring home because it put my account in the hole because you didn't do what you say you were going to do. And that's where, of course, the honesty part really comes in. Do what you say you're going to do. You know, don't get to the point where you start biting off more than you can chew because you done got comfortable and you feel like that person got you. Because when my money starts getting affected because you mismanaging your own money, that's when everything comes out.
Absolutely.
That's right. I've been in a relationship like that. You know, the girl sucked at managing money, and you know, I'm getting off work at 10 o'clock at night or whatever night, and I come home to a dark house. I forgot to pay the bill, and I ain't trying to hear that. You know what I'm
Exactly.
saying? Yes, I'm upset. You know what I'm saying? Don't even talk to me. You know what I'm saying? For real.
Absolutely.
But that was her. That's like I could just tell you another incident that happened with this chick, where this chick supposed to be paying her car notes or whatever not, and me at the time I'm thinking she doing that. I get a call from work one day. I've been saving up my little old money. I get a call from work today from my wife at that time, crying, blah blah blah. They done came and picked the car up from work, and I'm like, well, what did they pick it up for? Well, I didn't want to tell you. I ain't been paying the bill and blah 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 blah. Now you want my check to help you get a car. You know, not that I didn't mind, but I did mind though, because I was saving my money for something else. And all that, I'm gonna pay you back, and we supposed to no.
Awesome. Good stuff. Okay, so it sounds like what you are saying is, look, I don't mind you making more money than I make. Just be able to manage your money. You know, don't bite off more than you can chew. Don't spend too much. Don't get more bills than want money. You know, because then we're in a stressful situation. So, yeah, I'm not jealous of you. I'm not intimidated by you. I'm happy for you, actually. But be able to manage that stuff. And if you can't manage it, that's where I come in at. Right, guys? That's what y'all are saying? Exactly. So, you know what? It's 2:04 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We've been going on for a little bit over an hour now, and it's been exciting. I'm sure all of the women appreciate you guys' honest opinion about each question that they've asked. We didn't get a chance to go over all of the questions. Ladies, I do apologize about that, but I hope that you still were able to get some good advice or good information, good perspectives from these wonderful men that we had on the panel today. I really appreciate everybody for tuning in. Please tune in same time, same day, same place next Saturday. loveandwartv.com. Hope to see you there. It's Judge Lisa signing off. Thank you all again. Have a good day.
Peace and love.